It's not that these teams are not underinvested. It's that they have come from way behind because let's watch this again. We're talking about that Philadelphia, Toronto, their match right now. So one of these teams will go against Milwaukee. Whoever of these teams wins, it will be a breakthrough. I've never seen Philadelphia go way beyond this position that they are right now. I think at once, I don't know. This is why I need to be corrected because when Allen Iverson was with the 76ers, I don't remember. I think they once made it to their conference finals, but they lost at the conference finals, so they didn't move on. So that would have been like 15, 12 years ago, approximately. Yeah, 15 to 12 to 15 years ago. So Toronto, I've never seen Toronto. I think they once made it to conference finals. But none of these teams, we're talking about three teams, that are now the main possibility on the Eastern side because it's not that we don't care about the other teams that are still fighting on the Western, which is Portland and Denver, which are tied right now. And Denver has been a great team. It has been redeveloping itself since the departure of Carmelo Anthony. And we have seen Portland from the other side, who has been building up a great game. He has been developing a great chemistry between its players. And the thing is that any of these teams are predicted to be like swept over by Golden State. If you look at the stats, it tends to look that way too. But the thing is with the East Conference Finals is that any of these three teams that go ahead to the NBA Finals, any of these three, it will be historic. It will be the first time for many of these teams to go on an NBA Finals in many, many years. I think the lesser case will be in the case of Philadelphia. But if it is Milwaukee or Toronto, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it will be the first time that they are playing at an NBA Finals, and that's something that is really historic. It adds a little bit of edge. It adds a little bit of drama. It does not make it like this millionaire club against this other millionaire club. It made us like the best condecorated players in the league against the up and comers who have been redeveloping, because these three teams have been redeveloping their their game strategies, so that they are in this position that they are right now. So I think it will be an interesting, well, not the most interesting. It's not like it's gonna be 7 Days in Hell. I recently watched that movie. We're gonna talk about that later. If you haven't watched it, it's on HBO. It's a movie with Andy Samberg and Kit Harington. Kit Harington is the dude that does Jon Snow, and it's a really funny movie about tennis, of all things. But the thing is, it's not on that build up of drama, but I feel really good. As I told earlier, I feel really good that we have this breath of fresh air in the way that we have this build up to an underdog versus this monstrous dynasty team, and going on to the finals. So I think they will be interesting in that way. That doesn't mean that it depends on the caliber of the games, how most of the players they have, let's say, for example, also Golden State as well as Milwaukee, they have an entire set left. They have each conference final, and whichever team comes there, whatever happens in these games, most of the players, let's hope not, this is not what we were hoping, but as with sports, most of these players, they could get hurt. So there could be injuries. There could be game-changing moments. To be making a prediction so soon, it's kind of obvious that it's really hard that Golden State loses. It's really hard to see that, even though Denver has been always a really well-coached team. When it comes, it's like you can defeat Denver, but you're going to be defeating them on a close margin. It's a really hard-working team, too, and Portland has been redeveloping their game strategies. I think it's going to be really interesting. So that's really something in this year. I think, as I come from the last podcast, I think because sports, even though it has its merit and its efforts and its development, is also a form of entertainment, and it has its due respect. I'm not trying to disrespect that, but it is its form of entertainment. And through these developments on these finals have been really interesting, and I think they can draw again some, not all of the fans that have walked away because they have gone tired of this dynamic of super team against super team. They grow really tired about that, and I think that it's not like this is rigged to be this way, because we have to be clear on that. It's not like it is rigged to be this way. These are teams that have been redeveloping their tactics on the court, and they have been having really a great amount of success. And Golden State is a team that has stayed on its pace of keeping, sweeping the whole NBA away. So we will have to see what happens. A little bit early on, to be telling, but it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a real great, great NBA Finals. So, may the best team wins. And talking about that, what else do we have? It's not much. It is Mother's Day weekend. It is really important that we notice that. We have been spending a couple of minutes talking about NBA, but it's really important to notice that it's Mother's Day weekend. And I want to say happy Mother's Day to my lovely partner, my girlfriend, my soulmate and everything, Lourdes. Also to my mother, Ita, and my sister Yossi. The best of blessings, and I'm really blessed to have you as my mother figures, my inspirations, and I'm really proud to have you in my life. And we keep on going. We keep on going with the show. So happy Mother's Day. It's really hectic, to do research on special weeks like this, but I always had this reflection about Mother's Day. It is that it is not something that it is to be had on, one day a year. Should be something that it should be celebrated as much days, if not every day, every year. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers who listen to the mother of all podcasts. I was gonna say, but one day will be, and I don't doubt that. So we're working on that, step by step. So. The thing is that it should be celebrated every day, that moms are awesome. So, happy Mother's Day. And we talk about the NBA. Besides the NBA, there's nothing... Oh, we have changes. For those of you who are now listening to both of the podcasts, this is a really important announcement. The political comments are going to be made mostly on the Macedon Lives. Those are going to be retransmitted through the El Macedon podcast page on Facebook, which is where you're going to find all the podcasts. This podcast, which is the Macedon podcast, and the El Macedon podcast, which is my podcast in Spanish. You can find them. You will be finding them on the El Macedon podcast page. So, without further ado, as I was telling earlier, it has been a hectic week to get this podcast organized. So, we got that theme of the Milwaukee Bucks because I gotta be completely honest, I was 2 days ago. It was when I was realizing that we are on the playoffs. I knew that we are on May, so we must have been on the playoffs. So I forgot that we are close to June, that we are really close to the finals. And now, out of the sudden, I'm watching the build up to the conference finals, and the fact that I went and I think I don't talk about this on my podcast, but I'm gonna look at the bracket. I want to see what's going on, and then I saw the Milwaukee Bucks, and it was something really shocking to me seeing the Milwaukee Bucks there. Therefore, since of what I explained, that they were the last team, through all the 90s, beginning of the 2000s, and it's really great to see them there. So we're gonna have that underdog story going on. So what else is there? we cannot talk at this point about Game of Thrones without giving any spoilers, because the 5th episode is going to be airing after we have talked about this. The 5th episode, I've been tempted to do a podcast on that episode, because most of the actors and many people have pointed to the 5th episode of the final season of Game of Thrones as to be the one of the most emotional. I was gonna say heartbroken. It's not that I've seen the episode or anything, but they pointed out that is like the huge and most epic episode like ever is the episode that is gonna be airing. Is gonna be airing after I have recorded this podcast. So I think reviewing the events there, we're gonna be left with a lot of cliffhangers, and reviewing and analyzing those cliffhangers we're not gonna be only be going on the whole spoiler territory, but we will be like messing with what will be developing to the end. So the theme of Game of Thrones will not be touched until this is today. The final episode is next Sunday, so it will be after that we will be reviewing the final. We will be having, I don't want to make promises that I cannot be able to keep, but I'm gonna see if we can get some sort of a panel on that one. And I'm gonna try, but I think I'm gonna be mostly doing it by myself. But it's going to be an in-depth analysis on the whole impact. So if you are some of these people who are watching the episodes kind of late, and when I say kind of late, it's like 1 week after, because I'm going to be watching the episode, which will be airing, let's see. Go here. All right. So, we are here, May 19 is when the episode will be aired. So, the review on the whole series will be made on Sunday, May 26th. So, that's when we will be having the finale, the whole analysis on the whole ending, from the perspective of being following it and it's like being on a journey and stopping to go to the, like in the reality shows when they have these confessional rooms, I think they used to call them. It's gonna be like that through the whole experience. I don't know if I have said that I the Game of Thrones. I think what I do to the NBA, I do to most of the things that are on entertainment that I tend to follow. It's like I don't start following from game 1 or episode 1. It's like the series have to get some sort of a buzz, some sort of a buzz that it makes me curious. Not an overdose of a buzz, because that's what happened with La Casa de Papel, which is, I think it's called in Spanish, I don't know, what was the name in English? It was like Grand Theft or something like that. But La Casa de Papel, it is a famous series from Spain, and everybody kept like, you have to see La Casa de Papel. You have to see La Casa de Papel. And you have to see it. And I was like, there were so many people. And did you saw the last episode of La Casa de Papel? It was so many people, so many, like everywhere. It was like at work. It was when I was like going to buy groceries, like everywhere. Everybody was, you saw the episode of La Casa de Papel? And I was like so sick of it that I never even bothered to watch one episode. Never bothered. I think it's not that I'm saying that the series is bad. It's just that it got an overbuzz. Like everybody was overbuzzing so much about it that they got other people tired. And I think that to some extent, many people who are now on this cool train that I'm in the 1% who has not ever watched Game of Thrones comes from that kind of exhaustion that we as fans can get on the people around us. Is, we cannot stop talking shit about Game of Thrones. We cannot stop talking shit, making reference about what is